Kenny Venberg. I'm the Vice President of World Karting Association. We're here today for one of our national pavement races called the Heartland National Pavement Series. We've had 3 races. This is the second of the 3 of them that we've got. One of them was in Wisconsin, one of them was here, and one of them's going to be in Jamaica, Iowa next month. So that's why we're here at this beautiful facility they have here in Springfield, Illinois. It's actually just a membership-owned organization. It's been around since 1972, and it's just a bunch of people that got together with a common goal in mind for the sport of kart racing, and then they formed some kind of an organization to kind of monitor it, to set rules, to put on events, to keep the facility of the sport going, so they always have a place to race and to do what they want to do.
When you get in these things today, he was maybe running, I'm guessing somewhere in the 50s, maybe close to 60, but probably felt like 100 miles an hour out there. You're so low to the ground, and when you got them handling good, there's a lot of G-force out there. It feels pretty cool.
Diana Wilson, thank you.
I have friends of mine that tell me that it's a dangerous sport that we're in, but any competitive sport, I don't care if it's soccer or hockey or football, basketball, there's a factor of risk of getting hurt. I provide my son the best safety equipment they make for karting. I feel more safe doing this than I would if he was playing a soccer or hockey or something like that.
I've always said that you have to drive by the seat of your pants. And by meaning that, as soon as you feel your cart give or any fine feeling of it moving, you adjust for that. You adjust with your foot. You can slow up, or you can turn your steering wheel and correct it. But you just drive as hard as you can. You just drive by the seat of your pants. When your pants pulls to the right, well, you turn left, or so forth. But that's the feeling. And of course, you're running. Over here, you're running close to 70 mile an hour coming into that corner. So you're concentrating very hard on the track. I mean, you pay attention.
Race is on. I guess high while you're trying to beat everybody to that corner and get around the corner before they can. Yep. Everybody's got to get to that checkered flag first. It's just, it's really competitive to do it. And, most of the guys you're running with is your good friends. I mean, you come in, you're all buddies and friends. You get off, shake hands, and go on.
The skills that you learn to drive with these karts here are far, I don't know if I want to say this, that they're harder to drive than a NASCAR is or whatnot. Naturally, you're going faster with them, you have more weight you have, but the steering is so quick on this. The response to the chassis is so quick on this because we don't have a lot of suspension here that we're playing around with here. It's just real little subtle things. Half-pound air pressures and things like that makes a huge difference on how these cars handle. So you learn valuable lessons here at the lower end of it that you can carry on to those. Those same half a pounds make a difference in those NASCARs, okay? And if you learn those little skills down here, when they really count because there's no other suspension, you've learned a lot. Also, the steering is so quick and the maneuverability of it is so quick. And the acceleration power is very quick on these cars. So you learn great racing skills here at a lower level. Nowadays, almost all of them did, okay? There's some real standouts that did. We raced a long time with Tony Stewart. We raced a long time with Jamie McMurray. But even before that, a lot of people raced with a guy named Scott Pruitt, who used to race probably on this racetrack many, many years ago.
At 5 years old, you could put a kid in a go-kart and a kiddie kart and progress up through the ranks of the karting series. And then, when you get up into 14 years of age, you can actually start putting them into like a Bandolero legend car. And by that time, you can have, 7, 8 years of karting experience, driving experience behind you. And then when you put the kid in a bigger car, it's all about throttle control then, besides handling.
What's kind of nice about this track, first of all, we were here just for the pavement oval deal here, okay? So we raced only on this oval here, but it's the only oval we race on that's a tri-oval. Okay, most of them are just like a hairpin or a paperclip oval, okay? In other words, actually have 4 corners, 1, 2, 3, 4. This one has 3 corners, 1, 2, and 3, which is unique, and it was a very racy track. We liked it a lot. But besides that, what they have here, of course, is they have their sprint track incorporated in with this oval track, so they can have different venues from our different series here to run on their sprint track here.
I view this track as being the Pocono on the NASCAR circuit. It's only really got 3 turns, and turn 1 is pretty tight. and there's a wicked bump in turn one. It's kind of like the tunnel turn at Pocono where the guys are hitting it and skating out to the wall, and the same thing we're doing coming off of turn one. We're hitting that bump and skating out to the outside of the track. So you also put them out there and trying to, we skipped the session, had them watch other guys how to enter turn one, turn two, turn three, and by doing that we picked up 2.5 tenths of a second.
It's the driver, the chassis, and the motor. So I always tell people to calculate where they're at. Are you on, is 75% your driver? If it is, that's awesome. Is 20% your motor and 5% your chassis? Probably not. The least important thing, or probably really, when people think about it, is the motor. Now, they all think the motor is the most important thing, but to tell you the truth, the driver and the chassis setup far outweigh what the motor can do. So it's kind of a percentage I like to do. Now you need to adjust your percentage where it's at. Do I need improvement in the driving? Do I need improvement in my chassis? Do I need improvement in my motor? Find out any one of those three combinations and you can get yourself to be a winner. What it amounts to.
3 years ago we had a pretty bad wreck where we hit a wall pretty hard up at Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, and he was unconscious for about 6 hours in the emergency room. We took a pretty hard hit, but again, the safety equipment did the job. He's here with me today. He's fine. He had a concussion, and that was it. Some bumps and bruises, and it took me about 3 weeks to get his cart back together, and we went back to the next track we raced at was in Rockford, Illinois, and I thought he'd be afraid of it. And he went out there, and I told him first practice, take it easy, get the feel of the cart and everything, and he came out of to shoot onto the track, planted his right foot down, and never lifted for the whole practice session, was not one bit afraid of it. So that's amazing. I thought he'd be afraid, and most kids would, and he wasn't. He was ready to go.
You know what's the exciting thing about watching the race here is because a lot of times it's child out here in the racetrack. It's mom, dad back here in the pit area, grandma and grandpa back here in the pit area, and maybe a host of other relatives or brothers and sisters. And the excitement and the adrenaline that's flowing not only through the racer, but also those people who had a part of it is tremendous. And so I think that's what makes it a real appeal for people to come out. We don't have vast audiences to come out here and watch it because they don't know the people. But if they knew the people, they come. And the adrenaline flows through them just as much as it throws through the race.
Oh my!
These people will follow this same circuit for all of the races that we have, and they've gotten to know each other, become friends. Things happen on the racetrack, chippy things happen on the racetrack, bumps and bruises and bangs happen on the racetrack. Guess what? When they're all said and done with it, they're still friends back in the pit area, and that's kind of the nice part of it. Well, I got my kids involved in racing back in the 70s. And that involvement has gotten them, one of them married a gal from the racetrack, okay? Now they have grandkids racing. So to me, it was a start of something that will never end. It'll get passed on from generation to generation. I just think that's a neat thing to start. It's a lifestyle, no question about it. I can let you know that one year we went racing 43 weekends out of the year. Now that's a lifestyle if I ever saw it. You can't keep up with that kind of a pace, but at one time it was great fun.